They begged me to chip in for my brother's engagement. I sent $4,000 for the deposit. When I arrived, there was no seat for me, not even my name on the sign. My mom said, "Just take pictures or something." I left quietly, froze the event account, and called the venue with one sentence: "That card is no longer valid." At 9:17 p.m., my brother called screaming. But that was before I pulled the honeymoon funds, too. They always saw me as the reliable one, the one who didn't say no. So, when the engagement talks began for my younger brother Ryan, and they started throwing around numbers like they were playing Monopoly with real money, everyone turned to me like I was the damn bank. I should have seen it coming. The moment my mom called and said, "We're thinking of a beautiful place by the lake," I knew what that meant. Then came the group chat, where they sent venue links and dress codes and color schemes, followed by, "We just need a little help from everyone." Everyone. But everyone turned out to mean me again. They wanted this engagement party to be massive, classy, over the top, 75 guests, champagne fountain, candlelight dinner, live string quartet, custom floral wall for pictures. Someone mentioned hiring a drone. I asked what the budget was. Nobody answered, just awkward silence. And then Mom said, "You know, you make more than all of us combined." Ryan never said thanks. Not when I sent $4,000 to cover the venue deposit. Not when I paid the photographer's retainer fee 2 weeks later because they forgot. Not when I offered to help organize RSVPs and they told me not to worry about it. Apparently, my money was welcome, just not me. Still, I dressed up that evening like I was attending something special. I'd even gotten Ryan and his fiancée a custom gift, a photo book with pictures from our childhood and theirs, and a note inside about how proud I was. I parked a block away, walked to the venue, and opened the door, expecting warmth, music, and some hint that I mattered. The room was beautiful. I'll give them that. Gold and ivory decor, rose petals on every table, champagne flutes filled to the brim. I scanned for a seat. Nothing. I walked past the dessert table, past the bar, even the family section. Still nothing. No place card. No chair. Not even a damn napkin with my name on it. I found my mom talking with one of her friends and asked if there was a mistake. She looked over my shoulder and said, "Just take pictures or something, will you?" That moment, something broke. I didn't say a word. I turned around and walked out past the valet, back to my car. I sat in silence, hands on the wheel, then took out my phone and opened the online account we used for the event expenses. I froze it. No hesitation. Then I called the venue. I'd been the one who gave them the payment info when they said they needed a guarantee for the rest of the costs. "That card is no longer valid," I said. Then I hung up. At 9:17 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Ryan. I let it go to voicemail. Then he called again and again. On the 5th try, I picked up. "Oliver, what the hell did you do? They just came in and said the payment was declined. They want another card." The food's still coming out. Guests are eating. I told him I'd talk to him later. But here's the thing. He didn't know I was also the one who paid for their honeymoon. $7,600 split between airfare, resort bookings, excursions, and a massage package. They wanted to do Bali like influencers do it. Floating breakfasts, flower-filled bathtubs, and a villa with an infinity pool. I'd sent the payment weeks ago, but I had built a little security into it. Call it a habit of mine when I don't entirely trust the people I'm helping. And they had no idea I had the power to pull it all back with one email. I went home, poured myself a drink, and watched a video someone had posted from the party. My mom was smiling with a glass of wine. My dad was talking to someone at a table. Ryan was cutting the cake with his fiancée. They looked happy, carefree, but by the time they noticed what had really happened, when the venue manager tapped Ryan on the shoulder and asked for another card to finish payment, I imagine the smiles faded real fast. And that was just the beginning. The morning after the engagement party, I didn't even check my phone right away. I already knew what I'd find. I made coffee, took a long shower, and sat down to eat like it was any other Sunday. There was no sense of regret, No guilt, no second thoughts, just silence and the kind of clarity that hits you once you stop pretending your family sees you as anything other than a wallet with legs. Eventually, I opened my phone. 33 missed calls. 17 from Ryan, 6 from my mom, 4 from my dad, the rest from Emma, and a couple of numbers I didn't recognize. The texts were worse. Walls of frantic messages, accusations, questions, and a few pathetic attempts at acting confused. Ryan's first message just said, "What did you do?" The second one, "Did you seriously cancel the payment?" The manager said it bounced, and Grandma had to step in. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I scrolled past his meltdown and opened the travel site. I booked their honeymoon through a luxury package provider, flights, 5-star villa in Bali, private excursions, all inclusive. It was nearly $8,000 total. I hadn't even blinked when I paid for it. But I had the foresight to use my own account and my own name. I clicked into the dashboard, hit Manage Trip, and then clicked Cancel. The refund started processing instantly. Back to the card on file. Mine. There was a small cancellation fee, sure, but it was worth every penny. About 15 minutes later, Ryan called again. I answered this time. He skipped right past hello and went straight into screaming. "You're a psycho. Do you have any idea what you've done?" The venue embarrassed us in front of Leah's whole family. They shut the bar down halfway through. We had to move people out of the private dining room because the bill wasn't paid. Grandma had to put down her Amex just to keep the party going. "Are you kidding me?" I let him finish. Then I asked one question. "Did you notice there wasn't a seat for me?" He got quiet for maybe 2 seconds. Then, "You never RSVP'd. You didn't say you were coming. I paid for it," I said. "Did you think I sent $4,000 just to sponsor your party like some anonymous donor?" No answer. "You might want to check your honeymoon booking," I added. Then I hung up. It took less than 5 minutes for Mom to start calling. I let it go to voicemail twice before she sent a text. "Oliver, this is so unlike you. Why are you being cruel? That trip meant everything to them. You promised. You promised." I sent back a thumbs up emoji. Nothing else. An hour later, Dad tried. I didn't answer the first few times, but on the 4th call, I picked up. He started with a sigh. Always the sigh. "I know things got messy last night, but don't punish Ryan and Leah over a misunderstanding. This isn't how family treats each other." "You're right," I said. "Family doesn't exclude the person who paid for the damn event. Family doesn't forget to reserve a chair for the one who made it possible." "You made your point," he said. "But this is childish." I didn't say anything, just hung up. Then around 4:00 p.m., Emma showed up. She still had a key from years ago when she lived with me for 6 months after her divorce. I'd forgotten to change the locks. She walked in like she owned the place and sat across from me without saying anything. "You know they're freaking out, right?" she finally said. "Good. They said you ruined the biggest night of Ryan's life. That Leah's family thinks we're all insane now." I looked at her and asked, "Do you think I ruined it?" She didn't answer. Then I asked if she saw a place card with my name on it, or a seat, or even a folded napkin. Anything. She shook her head. "I asked Mom about it," she said. "She said they didn't think you'd come, that it didn't matter. That it didn't matter." That phrase echoed in my head for a full minute. I dropped thousands for people who didn't even think it was necessary to save me a chair. Emma glanced at the corner where the unopened photo book still sat. I'd planned to give it to Ryan and Leah at the party. Childhood memories, family trips, old letters we wrote as kids. They didn't even notice I had it with me when I left. "You're not going to give the trip back, are you?" she asked. "Nope. You know they're going to keep calling, begging, trying to make it right." I smiled for the first time that day. I hope they do, because I had more than just the trip in my pocket. I still had the honeymoon itinerary. I still had access to the registry system they used. And I still hadn't told them what I did with the leftover event funds they thought went toward party extras. This was far from over. By Monday, the whole family was in damage control mode. Ryan stopped texting and started sending voice notes instead, probably trying to sound more human, more hurt. I didn't listen to a single one, just saved them in a folder I labeled, "For Court Maybe." Leah finally entered the picture. She texted me from an unknown number. "Hi, Oliver. This is Leah. I know there's been a misunderstanding, but please don't punish us by canceling the honeymoon. We were really looking forward to it. I know you've been generous and we're grateful, but this doesn't feel like you. Please reconsider. No apology. Not even a mention of the fact that I was treated like some unpaid intern at my own brother's engagement party. She just wanted her villa and her stupid floating breakfast." I replied the next morning with one line. "I heard they have great hostels in Bali. Should be an adventure." She didn't respond after that. Then came the real plea. A group FaceTime. My phone lit up with a four-way call from Mom, Dad, Emma, and Ryan. I answered out of curiosity. Mom started crying immediately, not subtle sniffles. Full wet sobs, like she was auditioning for something. "Oliver, we made a mistake. We should have handled the seating better, but this... You're tearing the family apart," Dad chimed in, trying to act like the reasonable one. "We know you felt disrespected, and you're right. That was wrong. But canceling the honeymoon was overkill. They already told people they were leaving Friday. The flights, the hotel, it's all gone now." I leaned back and said, "You think the hotel's the problem?" Ryan finally spoke. "Look, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know you were coming. I figured you were just helping out like always. Helping out like always." I told them I'd think about it. The next day, I sent them a screenshot of a Bali weather forecast. Thunderstorms all week. Then I wrote, "Maybe it's a sign. Stay home. Think about what matters." Like folding chairs. Then I added a picture of my unopened gift to them, the photo book still shrink-wrapped, and asked if they remembered what real gestures looked like. That's when the tone changed. Ryan messaged again, this time angrier. "You're being cruel. I've never seen this side of you. You need help." "This is sociopath behavior," I replied. "It's new. I like it." They tried one more thing, sending Grandma to call me. She's the only one I still respected, but even she couldn't help herself. She tried to guilt me, saying she didn't mind covering the balance at the venue, that it was just money. But I asked her if she thought it was okay for her to cover something I'd already paid for while I was standing outside with no chair, no name, and no acknowledgement. She didn't answer that. By Thursday, it was clear they were done begging. Now they were bitter. They told people I'd lost my mind, that I'd sabotaged the party because I was jealous, that I'd been off lately and unstable. I didn't care because what they didn't know, what they hadn't even bothered to notice, was that I still had access to their wedding planning account. I hadn't touched it. Not yet. But the real storm hadn't even started. By the time Friday came around, Ryan and Leah were supposed to be sipping cocktails in Bali, posting boomerangs of infinity pools and avocado toast. Instead, Ryan posted a story of him and Leah on their couch in sweats, surrounded by takeout containers and 2 half-empty glasses of wine. No caption. Just a slow zoom into Leah's fake smile while she scrolled on her phone like it was the phone's fault their honeymoon imploded. I watched it twice, then shut off my phone. For a day or two, everything went quiet. Not a single message, not a single call. I figured they'd finally accepted the loss and were licking their wounds somewhere in Leah's parents' basement. Then Sunday morning, Emma sent a text that actually made me laugh out loud. "Did you screw with the wedding registry?" People are calling us confused. I hadn't, at least not yet. But now that she brought it up, I logged into the registry. I still had full admin access thanks to the fact that I helped them set it up 6 weeks ago while they were too busy finalizing the color palette for the reception. They never changed the password because, of course they didn't. I didn't delete anything. That would have been too obvious. Instead, I started tweaking. The espresso machine renamed to fund Ryan's morning apology ritual. The $1,000 cookware set now called Dishes for People Who Can't Cook But Love Control. The honeymoon fund tab rewritten as This trip has been cancelled due to arrogance. Then I added a new section altogether, a joke one, chair fund, in case I ever get a seat at a family event again. It got $200 in the first hour with notes. My favorite one said, "I wasn't even invited, and I'm still mad for you." I thought that would be it. A quick jab, a chuckle, nothing major. But the extended family saw it, and they didn't hold back. The passive-aggressive aunts, the uncles who live for drama, the cousins who had been sidelined for years, they started contributing. I let the registry sit overnight, and by Monday it had raised $1,300, none of which Ryan or Leah could touch because I'd rerouted the payout destination to a charity that provides therapy for burned-out caregivers. It took them all of 4 hours to figure out what I'd done. Emma texted me in all caps. "You need to stop this. You're ruining everything." I replied, "That's the idea." Then Mom called. This time, she wasn't crying or yelling. She was calm in a way that made me think she'd rehearsed it in the mirror first. "Oliver, we've talked it over. We think it's best that you don't come to the wedding." I let her finish, then said, "So, just like the engagement party?" She ignored that. "We think you need space. Some time to think about what you've done." "I have," I said, "and it's been amazing." She hung up without another word. Later that night, I got an alert from my bank. Another charge attempt from the wedding venue. $3,800 this time. I called the venue directly and explained the situation. They apologized and confirmed the card had already been removed, but someone tried to re-add it under my name. That's when I knew they weren't just desperate anymore. They were trying to trick their way back into my wallet. An hour later, I got a message from a blocked number. "You think this is over? You think this is funny? You'll regret it." It wasn't Ryan. He didn't have the spine, and it wasn't my parents. They didn't have the vocabulary. That only left one person. Leah, the bride-to-be who had never texted me once to say thank you until now. And that was her mistake. By Tuesday, the air felt different. Not just quiet, strategic. No more pleading messages. No more guilt trips or passive-aggressive quotes posted to family group chats. Nothing. Which was how I knew they were up to something. Then I saw it. Emma accidentally shared a screenshot in the family group chat instead of sending it privately. It was a cropped photo of a new group, one I wasn't in, just labeled Handling Oliver. I clicked her message. It disappeared 2 seconds later. She unsent it, but not before I saw who was in the chat. Mom, Dad, Ryan, Leah, and 2 of Leah's sisters. They'd assembled a little committee, a crisis task force for one person. Me. I didn't say anything. I wanted to see how far they'd go. By Wednesday morning, things kicked into gear. Emma texted me pretending like nothing had happened. "Hey, are you still coming to the family brunch Sunday? Mom's making that awful quiche again, lol." I replied, "Thought I wasn't invited to weddings or brunches these days." No answer. Then my LinkedIn blew up. 3 new connection requests from people I didn't know, but they were all connected to Leah. One worked in PR. One listed conflict resolution strategist in their bio. The third had no job listed, but was mutual friends with her father. That night I got a message from an unfamiliar number. "Hi, Oliver. I'm working with Leah's family to mediate some misunderstandings before the wedding. Can we set up a call this week? They were trying to clean me up like a scandal, rebrand me into someone they could tolerate again, or at least silence before the wedding rolled around." So I played along. I agreed to a call. We connected Thursday at noon. It was a woman who sounded like she read motivational quotes for a living. She said she was just here to create healing pathways. I said, "Are you charging them for this?" She laughed. "Let's talk about what your needs are right now." I said, "My needs? A refund on a chair that never existed and maybe a framed apology from your client." She tried to redirect. I let her flounder for a full 15 minutes before I ended the call with, "Tell Leah this isn't a misunderstanding. This is payback." By Friday, I knew they were done with diplomacy. That night, Ryan posted a cryptic status online. Some people spend their lives holding grudges. Must be exhausting. Leah's sister shared it with a caption. Imagine being the kind of person who ruins an engagement party because you didn't get enough attention. And then I got an email from a law firm. Not a real lawsuit, but a cease and desist letter. They were claiming defamation over the registry edits, demanding I shut it down immediately and refund all donated funds. I read it twice, then laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. Because here's what they didn't realize. I already pulled the plug on the registry funds. The charity had received everything 3 days ago. I had the receipt. The refund window was closed. But they wanted war, so I gave it to them. That night, I sent a group email. Every name I'd seen in the Handling Oliver chat was on it. Subject line, since you like committees. And in the body, I attached something I'd been holding on to. Screenshots from the honeymoon itinerary. The messages confirming I paid and the timestamps proving I was removed from the seating chart 3 days before the party. Then, I ended with this. If you thought the registry was bad, wait until you see the wedding. And that was not an empty threat. They pushed. I warned them. They kept pushing. So I ended it. The cease and desist had no teeth. Just a scare tactic full of vague legal jargon claiming I'd maliciously sabotaged the registry platform. I replied to their lawyer with a copy of the terms of service and a donation receipt from the mental health nonprofit I'd redirected the funds to. Then I forwarded that reply to Leah. 3 hours later, Ryan called me for the first time in days. I let it go to voicemail. He left a message that sounded like he was pacing in a small room. You've made your point. We get it. I get it. You've burned enough bridges. You're done, man. But I wasn't. I still had to log into their wedding planner app, the one where all the final details were stored. Vendor lists, seating chart, menu, music cues, scheduled emails to guests, everything. I didn't delete anything. I was past that. I just adjusted the seating chart. I moved my name to the front row. I made myself best man on the program. Then I changed the name of Leah's cousin, who I know for a fact hates me, to Ryan's ex. Awkward, huh? I reordered the ceremony playlist, so the second song was Celine Dion's All By Myself. Then made sure every time someone clicked View Map to get directions to the venue, it redirected to a Waffle House in Newark. I let it sit for 2 hours before logging out. They noticed fast. Saturday morning, I woke up to 5 missed calls and one very shaky voice message from Leah. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just said, "You're not welcome in this family anymore. And after this wedding, you're dead to us." Finally, honesty. By noon, I'd already decided I wasn't going to retaliate again. Not because I was done, because I'd already won. They moved the wedding to a different venue, a cheaper one. The original dropped them after unresolved financial complications, which I might have helped nudge along. Their new space was half the size, and the catering budget got slashed. Suddenly, the lavish family affair became a DIY Pinterest nightmare. The day of the wedding, I wasn't invited, of course, but someone sent me a picture anyway. A folding chair sitting alone in the back corner of the reception hall. No name tag on it, just a chair. The message attached said, "I think this one was yours." I smiled, deleted the photo, and blocked the number. That was the last time I heard from any of them. No birthday texts, no holiday cards, not even a forwarded meme from Emma. It was over, and I've never felt more free. They stopped calling. I stopped paying. I bought myself a new chair, leather, swivels. It's mine. I sit in it whenever I want. No RSVP required. It had been quiet for months. No calls, no texts, no weird friend requests, nothing. I assumed that was it. The end of whatever that mess of a family dynamic used to be. I started seeing a therapist. Finally booked a solo trip to Iceland I'd been putting off for years. My apartment felt bigger, lighter, like it had been holding its breath for too long. Then last Friday, I got a voicemail. Blocked number. I almost deleted it without listening, but curiosity got the better of me. It was Ryan. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, and I wouldn't be calling unless it was serious. Leah and well, we're going through something, and I need to ask you something. Just hear me out, please. That was it. No details, no apology, no explanation. I laughed out loud alone in my kitchen. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I knew what this was. They were unraveling, and for a second, I thought maybe I'd feel something about that. Pity, maybe. Regret. But I didn't. I just poured myself some wine, sat down in my chair, and played the voicemail one more time. Then I deleted it, just like them.